Sexy links. There it is. I mean, alert the fandom.
Let them know.
Let them know what's up. Put them on blast, as the kids say. I don't fucking know what the kids say.
You gotta let them know.
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta let them know. What's up, dark judges, desperados, and dudes in dick-shaped helmets? You're listening to Cursed Earth Radio, the one and only podcast bringing dread to the dreadless.
Broadcasting outside the walls of Mega City 1 across the Black Atlantic in North America. I'm Cool Johnny Cool.
And this is Heavy Metal Kid, and we're back live in the studio. The chat is lighting up like a Christmas tree with our thousands and thousands of excited followers piling in to talk about this week's amazing prog. And what is in store this week, Johnny?
We have Chapter 2 of Judge Dredd, Honest Man. Hope in the Shadows gets metaphysical. Nolan's going to work his way into a body bag in this fucking thing. Dexter, we get some folk horror, so I'm kind of here for this. And Fiends of the Eastern Front, the dragon played Rasputin for full, and then Rasputin turned into David Bowie, I think. I'm fucking confused.
And that wouldn't be the first time we had a David Bowie analog in the pages of 2000 AD, so I'm not surprised. Hey, how's it going this week, Johnny?
Oh, it's a whole thing, man. Hey, I believe you're going to have to walk back a lot of that hate you had for Hiya Toys, dude, because they are fucking knocking it out of the park.
Let's get this clear. I didn't have hate. I had skepticism.
You believed they were not going to do fire, and you had burning hatred.
No. I've been victimized by the 2008 community too many times. Let me just say, I had what Sage Francis, the greatest rapper of all time, calls a healthy distrust. But hey, I completely apologize to Hiya Toys. They're killing it. And did you see that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive thing they did?
Yeah, I already pre-ordered it. And we're getting Mac Anorak send us a link. We're getting the Judge Dredd and Lawmaster combo.
Yeah.
And Big Bad Toy Store put up the pre-order for Judge Hershey. So there's that. You can be confused about that.
It is a struggle.
Do I have to ask you, show me on the Judge Fire figure where... God damn it, I was going to say a thing. You did to me what I do to you. That's my job.
I think the problem is, Johnny, that you are in full robot voice and you have no idea what is going on. I think you're getting statements that I made 5 minutes ago just coming through now.
Shit, we're gonna have to do this podcast via Ouija board.
No, look, I want that San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I haven't ordered a goddamn thing from Hiya Toys, and this is now it's like I'm so far behind. I'm going to have to be the guy that goes and buys them on eBay for quintuple the price.
No, just get on Big Bad Toy Store, put your pre-order in. The first ones aren't even slated to hit until September. You got time.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And you don't have to pay until they show up for Big Bad. So it legitimately is like that thing I do when we go out and look for toys, where I wander around the shop with a toy and then put it down.
Yeah, the old, I think we all learned that, most of us that grew up, I'm not going to say poor, but we grew up not super rich. So there were times when we wanted shit we couldn't buy, and you get that little, I'm just going to go walk around the store holding this thing and then put it back, and I'm going to feel good about myself.
It's the illusion of means to purchase the dumb thing that I'm dragging around with me.
It's also summarized by most online stores, where I'll keep getting emails every week that says your cart has changed. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't want that stuff. I was just window shopping.
Yeah, I get a notification from Discogs every now and then where I've put shit in my cart and forgot to follow through. Like, oh shit, somebody got that Bananarama LP. Well, good for them.
Man,
hey,
of,
Chelsea's in the chat.
Oh yeah, welcome to the chat, Chelsea. Her and the other thousands of listeners.
Well, it just showed her showing up amongst the throng of Cursed Earth faithful. But hey, I guess I have to thank you, my esteemed co-host, for getting a disease, because Chelsea came in and she was going to see your boys up in the north, but since you came down with the death, she slummed it with Ghost Road, and it was really cool. We got to hang out and talk Dredd. Chelsea is legitimately the third person I've ever been able to talk Dredd with at a show. So that was cool, and it was great to meet you in person. I hope we at least met your expectations.
My only regret about the whole thing is that I didn't get myself to go hang out with you, your band, and Chelsea. But we did, as Chelsea was passing through, we did manage to catch up. I was finally over my quarantine, and so we walked around the comic shop and Ollie's for a little bit. So it wasn't the hang we were hoping for, but it was a hang nonetheless. And Judge Anderson is also in the chat right now.
Are you sure? You get confused.
I don't miss Judge Anderson. It's only the dark-haired.
You totally misjudged Anderson. No, that was Hershey and Helter Skelter. Yeah. You're a very confused old man, is what I'm saying, and the COVID's not helping.
If anybody can show me proof that there was not a point in time where Judge Hershey was like spontaneously in one story hot and then the next story looked like a haggard old woman, I'll admit it. But
you're right. But you got to remember, we read those two stories back to back, and there was 15 years in between them in their actual publication. Because Helter Skelter came out in the 90s, and then we're reading Guatemala or the new Hershey story as it was happening. So there was a good 15 years in betwixt the two.
Well, but let's have a look at Judge Anderson, because in real life, or in comic book life, Anderson still looks like Anderson, man. She doesn't look haggard. She doesn't look old.
Well, she didn't go to space and get a disease and come back dying and tell Joey was a dick and then hightail it to Banana City with Dirty Frank without hair. She's seen some stuff.
That whole thing that you just said, hightail it to Banana City with Dirty Frank without hair, just sounded like a very pornographic description. And it was really the most wholesome thing anyone could say. But okay, so don't ask me why, because I don't know why. But today I was sitting on my porch listening to some music and chilling. And I thought, sometimes weird shit just pops into your head. And the weird shit that popped into my head was, wonder what happened to Fabio. Remember him, Fabio? I
lost track of Fabio after he got hit in the face with a goose on that roller coaster.
So did we all. It's funny. That's exactly what my wife said. She's like, didn't he get hit in the face with a goose? And I said, like 40 years ago. So I had a look. I was like, what's going on with Fabio these days? Guess what? Still handsome as fuck. Still muscular as fuck. Still doing his thing. What I'm saying is that even in the real world, people can still just look good in their old age. And Judge Anderson in the chat is agreeing with me. Anderson is still hot as fuck, even in her 50s.
I'm just saying, Fabio's got that look good money. We don't got that money, because I'd need a shit ton of it to start. And did you find out anywhere in your research of Fabio if he finally was able to believe that it was butter? Did he have a come to butter moment?
Well, if he did, then that means he's wrong, though, because it wasn't butter. They told us that. I saw something. This is stupid, and I guess we could move on. But I did see something after I say this. I saw something somebody posted on the internet the other day. It genuinely made me laugh out loud. And they said, believe it or not, there was a time in the mid 90s when it was acceptable to stop at a red light and ask the car next to you if they had mustard.
Great poop and Dijon mustard.
Yeah. Oh God, we've started out on a stupid note.
Have you heard our podcast?
Yeah, that's true. We continue on this week with the fake names, as Tiernan Trevelyan is the cover artist. Last week we had a number of writers whose names I didn't believe, and I'm just going to go ahead and say fake name. It's all fake. They're all fake. All the names are fake.
Wait, no, it's a shoot. That's a shoot. It's all a shoot.
Cat Sullivan, is that real?
I'm sitting next to a cat, and he's real.
Did you get to check out Droid Life this week?
I did. Every time Droid Life is in the Prog. I have to read it because of the fear that you would also read it and call me out on not reading Droid Life. So yes, I read it.
Good. And we won't answer the question as to whether or not I read it, but let's say
You son of a bitch.
I let's just say that I don't know what it is, but I want to visit Creamy Dracula's, and I'm sure that stuck
Please
out
don't.
here on the first page of Judge Dredd, An Honest Man, Part 2. What the fuck is Creamy Dracula's? And we're talking, of course, about the first panel. There's a some sort of establishment that looks like a diner called Creamy Dracula's.
I'm more worried about the sump tank, and I hope that Otto drowned in it.
Someone wrote on the front scum tank as well.
Did you notice in the panel directly below that where we're seeing our dude whose name escapes me at the moment? Jesus Christ. Did you notice the painting on the back of the wall? Instead of dogs playing poker, it's Clegs playing poker.
Oh my God. I did not notice that, but that's amazing. Wow. Man, Tom Foster's artwork is real classy, isn't it?
I started following him on Instagram, and he puts up a lot of process.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, it's legitimately amazing.
Yeah. It's real good for the Dredd stories, especially. Like, it's so I don't know, man. There's something about it that doesn't have any sort of weird modernness to it. It just kind of looks like sort of a classy, timeless. Even the way he draws like people in Dredd, it's like they're people from the future of 1985.
It's a timeless future of the past.
Yeah. Well, he of all the artists, I think, really keeps what you always called like quintessential British sci-fi, which is like, you know, can be best exemplified by Mean Machine's arm in the early progs. That was like, yeah, it's metal, but it's also kind of like a weird tentacle and
the grabby hand.
Yeah. So yeah, I love the art for this one. And this, I mean, man, the story is great. I think we're gonna get a look into what you were hoping last week is like you want to know exactly what this guy did.
Well, we got a little peek at it, and he obviously, this guy did something that flipped his switch so bad that he face fisted him into nothingness. And it brought up a point that I had forgot about in the last time we visited him. What the hell is this guy's name? It's killing me. The guy with our main character.
Oh, what's the main character's name is? Craig.
Greg.
Yeah, Craig or Greg.
Good job. Hold on. My brain is full of, hold on.
While you're looking, I'll say, you know, there's a lot of things in Dredd and Mega City that I always like it when we get just a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain on. And one of them is Recyc. And I love the description. Asher, by the way, the chat.
Yes. Thank you, chat.
By the way, like the way that we get a little peek behind how Recyc works and like, I don't know, just the whole process. When you hear about Recyc to begin with, as a reader, you're just like, oh my God, it's just like, there's got to be a better way to do it than this. But nope, here we go.
Just conveyor belt recycling machine, corpse recycling machine.
It's very clean. So it's very clear that they drain all the blood out of these guys and some stage prior to where we see them, because they're being chopped into bits, or it's real cold. Maybe it's frozen. I don't know. I got to know more about Recyc and how it works.
Well, if you fuck off on your duties, you get to go wade into the sludge pool and look for body parts. So that seems super fun. But yeah, it reminded me that Asher, in the last story, A Penitent Man, he told us that he had been sending money to the victim's daughter her entire life, and then lo and behold, she walks into the bar he's in the sump tank, and he doesn't like the look of the dude that comes in with her, so he decides to go accost the what does he call him? The 5 spot in the cube's waiting to happen.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I think our dude's not as earnest in his redemption as I previously thought, because given the chance to steal some money from some dead mobsters, he does it, and then he's going to barter that into getting his face put back together.
And the question is, though, is this all yeah, and but I'm going like, okay, what is the end? Is he doing all of this so that, he can get his face put back together so that he can go undercover? Because right now it's very clear that if somebody sees that you're a disgraced judge, that surgery only happens to disgraced judges. So if he's trying to go undercover to solve this case, and that was my thought, was just like, man, he's got nothing left, as far as personal gain. It's almost just like he's just going to chase down one last case, because at the end of the day, he's just a fucking judge, that's all he's got.
I read it as he had finally hit the wall and just wanted his face back, which I can completely understand, Yeah. But everything, the last word bubble on in this chapter says, wherever the line was, he well crossed it. He's well across it. So he knows that everything he's doing right now is going to come back and bite him in the ass, from stealing from the scene, from, opening up the drive that he cut out of the mobsters, to chasing down ill-gotten money. It's all going to end up with him either back on Titan or executed, one of the two.
Yeah. The moment he did anything more than whatever it was, cleanup crew or whatever it was that, he was doing in the first chapter, no matter what his reasoning was, he should have went straight to the judge with it. But, it's that programming. And that's why and who knows, I guess we'll find out, but I lean more towards the fact that he can't, once a judge, always a judge. And he can't shake that programming that says, I need to follow this case. I need to solve it. Now, maybe he is walking the path of Rico, though. I don't know. I didn't even think about that, actually. So it'll be interesting to see what he's doing and where he's going. And, but yeah, he's clearly crossed the line. I want good things for this guy. He's become kind of a sympathetic character.
Yeah, but the path he's on does not lead to good things right now.
No, and I guess that even starts with the path of becoming a judge. I did think it was interesting when you see him, like the first time you see him, sans, Roboface. He does seem like kind of just your typical cocky, the way he's talking about the Calhabers and
our douchey rookie or new badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, when you see, you just kind of start to realize, like, man, these fucking judges, until they're on the other side, and maybe that's what changes your outlook. But, the way they see the citizens is almost like a very oppositional, like, these guys are my enemy.
Definitely an us and them, but I don't know. I think if once a douche, always a douche. He's just going to be a douche with a helmet and a badge now. I loved it when he knew what he did. He walked out on his duties, and Joe fucking called him on it and calls him to recyc. And so you left it in the hands of civilians and academy washouts and robots, huh? That was a good idea. Cool.
Yeah.
Get in this tank with me. And the guy says, well, couldn't we get robots to do this? Yeah, we could, but they didn't cause this in the first place. So get in the tank.
Yeah. Dredd's getting a little justice of his own there, but it's so even the way that he had approached Asher, it was just like anyone below me as a judge, or anyone below me as a judge is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And is there a parallel there to where Asher was when he committed his crime. You know, what's the deal? I need to know more about this. Need to know more about this crime.
Need to know more intensifies. I definitely know we're going to get more. It's just you got to be patient. You got to be a patient man, not a penitent man.
It's always a patient man for me. So that brings us to Hope. Yeah, man. The final page of Hope had me pretty excited.
Oh, where he seemingly is dying from a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like, I don't know. Now we're going to this weird like movie within a movie where somebody's writing the script, and is it like, is that is there some element of this where there's some like black occult script writing ritual thing going on here? What the fuck's happening, Johnny?
The whole thing's hexed, and something's going on here. I can't remember how we got to the resolution of Under Fire because it's been too long, but yeah, he was up against all kinds of magical assholes, and I think they were in the same spot here, and I hope that Hope isn't dead. And I couldn't tell if this guy eating the banana is he supposed to be Werner Herzog, because he looks like fucking Werner Herzog.
Didn't they say? I always thought he was like a.
Or it's more than likely supposed to be Ingmar Bergman.
I was even wondering if he's not your. I guess not. I was going to say your Cecil B. DeMille, like your big epic, but it's no. He's like a schlocky-ish kind of artsy director guy. So I don't know.
He looks a lot like Werner Herzog.
We need a Werner Herzog, like the life of where he does really look like Werner Herzog. You're right. Yeah. We need a comic book of his, like his other adventures, the adventures of Werner Herzog.
We are all born astride a grave, and you have to read it in this voice, and it is very sad.
Yeah. What's your favorite Werner Herzog movie?
Oh man. You know, I'm sure you'd expect me to say the Nosferatu remake, but I don't know. I honestly, I've never thought about my favorite Werner Herzog movie. I'd have to actually put some thought into that.
He's definitely a fucking weirdo.
Well,
I do like that Nosferatu remake. It's fucking weird. And you know, I think as entertaining as that movie is, what's more entertaining is listening to the commentary where Werner Herzog talks about kind of wanting to kill
Klaus Kinski.
Werner Herzog, I don't know if you ever saw this movie he did called Heart of Glass.
I don't think so.
Like a weird fucking Bavarian folktale, but
you're gonna have to be a lot more specific then.
the whole like beginning sequence is some like he shot it to like hypnotize the viewer, and like I don't know, man. There's what a fucking guy. We could go all day about Werner Herzog.
I liked him in The Mandalorian when he said, "I would like to see the baby."
Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
I've
not seen it. So I'll tell you, he's in a really schlocky movie, but a really great movie called Beneath Loch Ness. And it's not directed by him. It's a mockumentary where they go out to find the Loch Ness Monster, and it's supposed to be a hoax, but I don't even know how to explain it. But if you've not seen Beneath Loch Ness, or maybe it's just called Loch Ness. Now I'm getting my Loch Ness movies confused, but the one with Werner Herzog, it's incredible.
Tell me that's movie. The title of the picture. Loch Ness, and then in parentheses it says the one with Werner Herzog.
It should, yeah. What's going on? Chris in the chat says hello. We're talking about Werner Herzog. You came right at the perfect time. So yeah, you're right though. That does look like Werner Herzog, man. I didn't even make that connection because they called him Ingmar. So I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, you're right. It's totally Werner Herzog. So,
Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
The only Judge Dredd podcast where you'll get this much discussion about Werner Herzog.
And probably the only podcast ever where you will get this much discussion. But yeah, our man Hope is definitely in trouble here, and you know, he's having a heart attack, a hex-induced heart attack, and I can only hope that when he opens his eyes, we'll get to see our gas masked
Lady
evil
Ghost.
spirit Lady Ghost friend. Yeah, that's what we want.
Give us the thing we want now. Damn it.
And then you turn the page and Brink is there.
Man, Nolan, I believe his subconscious knows that he's shot his wad, for lack of a better phrase.
At the end of this story, he certainly has.
Yes, he's pretty okay, but then his wife is going to go meet the head of the Gentile Corporation, which seems totally fine. Like they wouldn't at all invite the wife of a dude who they know is trying to dig up dirt on them for a fun interview where she has to be gone for weeks and end up dead.
Is he not connecting the dots here?
Hubris is a motherfucker.
I guess. Yeah.
They thought the Titanic was unsinkable too. So
yeah. He's there too, man. I just feel like he's so cocky, and he was so cocky at the end of the last issue, and it was a kind of a badass moment for him. You know, it was his walking slowly away from the explosion without looking back moment. But you know what, man? You don't get many of those in real life, and when you do, you really got to watch out, because usually some shrapnel comes flying up behind you and takes you out. So yeah, I think we both know he's in danger, but there's a really important question for me that this brought up. Something that bugs me forever and will always bug me is why, Johnny, in the future, do they always find it necessary to redesign the bed to something that never, ever could be as comfortable as just a normal bed?
I don't know. I kind of like to take a nap in that thing.
It's like, I get that it's a space age sleeping compartment, but it's too goddamn lumpy. Nobody wants to sleep on lumps. They do this in every sci-fi show. I was talking to my wife. We were watching some of the new Star Trek, the Strange New Worlds, and then went and started watching the 50% great and 50% goddamn terrible Star Trek Discovery. And in one of them, I don't remember which one, but they showed a bed and it was normal. And I was like, holy shit, that bed looks comfortable. And it's one of the very few science fiction beds that don't look like, it's like, we're going to redesign it and make it look futuristic, and it just looks fucking terrible.
In the grim darkness of the future, there is only uncomfortable beds.
It needs to be like Demolition Man, where they're like, you know, Taco Bell won the fast food wars. I'll tell you who wins the bed wars, man. It's just your classic fucking like Serta Perfect Sleeper or your Purple mattress, or it's just a flat bed. That's all we need. We just need a flat bed. This weird fucking pod with, you know, I've seen so many sci-fi movies where pillows are like a tiny square, and it's like, no, man, this is not progress. This is going back to the fucking Stone Age.
No, it's the future. It has to be awkward and painful.
It's like the bed, and I know it's like a dumb sticking point, but like when I will read a sci-fi story and I see a bed like this with the pads that go all the way up on the wall and all the way up to the ceiling, which doesn't make any fucking sense. I also, to me, it's like seeing a sci-fi story where everybody wears a silver spacesuit. You know, everybody just wears a silver one-piece suit with a flap in the front. And
I mean, that was the ensemble du jour there forever for futuristic sci-fi looks.
It was. Yeah, it's like, I'm from space, goddammit. Didn't you see the silver suit?
The future. And then the future I come from is silver.
Yeah. You know, we'll just say it's a pet peeve of mine. Let's not pretend that, yes, in the future, maybe in the future, the beds will be space sage and redesigned and better, but they won't be redesigned to something less comfortable. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome to Curse Truth Radio, where we will nitpick the shit out of the dumbest stuff you've ever heard. Like that girder holding up all of Mega City 1.
When somebody asks me, you know, how do you like Inge Colbard's art? I'll say, oh, fantastic artist, but their idea for redesigning a bed is fucking terrible.
They have no clue about sleeping posture.
Yeah. I mean, does somebody sleep on what's the reason that the roof of this bed would be padded, John? Is it? I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well,
Man.
I mean, they are on a orbital space station. Maybe they're just accounting for roll, so you can just flop around your
If that
circular bed.
motherfucker rolls, that's like an entire city rolling, and all the cars that are in the fucking belly of this thing, are there cars in this place? I don't
Wait
know.
till you see we go down into the unreach where you find that it's just one steel girder holding up the entire unreach.
Right. And I guess, yeah, I am missing the point here that there's some fucking real bad dreams that our man is having here at the end that can only signify terrible things are coming his way.
That the eyeball thing, Shumagoroth there shoots out of the back of his uncle's weird friend's head.
Yeah. So yeah, man, this is a nice little Alfred Hitchcock. We know the bomb's under the table, but our character just seems to be completely fucking oblivious.
Hubris. The word of the day is hubris.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That brings us to Dexter.
And, you know what? I was kind of in on this one because we're kind of going folk horror-y here, and I'm for it.
Yeah. I feel like Dexter's did me wrong too many times. Sinister and Dexter. I'm like, I've almost been PTSD'd. I'm like, okay, we got some folk horror, but where the fuck are you? When is the program gonna crash and fucking Sailor Moon comes running back in, and I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about this.
I don't know either, but it reminded me of kind of like The Village or The Witch, and I'm like, I'm here for that, and I enjoyed this as an isolated incident within Dexter. So
yeah. And if I had just jumped on right now and I had read this, I'd be like, ooh, I might like this. What is this Dexter? What is this interesting folk horror scary comic that I'm reading? I like this. And
you would be immediately disappointed in the next chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, man, exactly. Sinister Dexter, Dexter Sinister, and Sinister Dexter, all of those things, if nothing else, they're completely, you can't predict what's going to happen. So we'll give them that. I really hate to say it, but I always go into Sinister Dexter stuff with so much, like, there's so much for me to get over as far as stuff I haven't liked in the past. It's never art wise. It's just always like, I just can't get connected to the story. Can't get connected to these characters.
You got to get yourself connected. Write-ins on the wall.
And you know what? Like, the thing that fucks with me the most about this is that it's Dan Abnett. And I mean, dude, Dan Abnett's the guy. He's the guy that's, writes all the great Warhammer stuff. He's the guy that has written most everything we love. So much of the stuff that we end up loving here, the Out, Against All Odds, is Dan Abnett. So it's like, it's not like the dude's not one of the greats. I really do think he's one of the greats. Maybe it's just the characters. I don't know, man.
I think we came in the middle and we were confused, and that's always going to be our take on it.
Yeah. The Thing and the Thing, Part 2.
Big Bad Toy Store has pre-orders up for the Dredd versus Death exclusive Hershey and Judge Dredd and the Lawmaster right now.
God help me.
Oh, I'm putting them all in because I'm just carrying them around in my cart until, I decide to leave the store.
Yeah, that's smart. I'm gonna have to do that.
Oh, never mind. The pre-order is sold out for the Dredd versus Death.
There we go. Well, that makes it easy for me.
Well, the Lawmaster's still there, and it's not going to come out until March 2023. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get back to that nonsense here in a second. Yeah. Fiends. The dragon pull a sneaky on you.
The dragon pull a sneaky on you.
The dragon pulled a sneaky on you, sir.
I'm just glad that finally we got some dick neck.
I was going to say, Castanta hangs dong in this chapter.
Why wasn't that in your intro?
I forgot. I legitimately forgot until I just turned the page.
If there's anything that we need to highlight, that people would be, disappointed if we don't point out the fact that Fiends of the Eastern Front has Dong this week.
Yeah, so all of our loyal chat friends and our loyal listeners, make sure you tell all of your friends who aren't listening to Cursors Radio, you got to listen this week because they talk about Costanza the hanging dong.
Right. Yeah, man, this dragon here, I don't know, man. He's an interesting character. He's got a Fu Manchu mustache on one of his heads.
Doesn't work for him, brother.
Doesn't work for him. And I didn't really expect it to sort of end like this with old Rasputin here.
Getting torched and having his disguise burned off. I'm assuming this dude is either Abel or Judas, one of the two.
Yeah,
the last thing he says, the only one man in creation bears the mark of Cain. So that would make him Abel, right?
Yeah, I guess. And I was trying to figure that out too, because I was like, oh yeah, man, it'd be Abel. But in that case, like, wasn't Abel just kind of like a really nice dude? Wasn't he just like wasn't he good guy, good cop, and Cain was bad cop? So
I'm not up on my brother.
Or was Judas? I think Judas was actually the descendant of Cain. I think, I don't fucking know, but yeah, man, I liked the little swerve though. I didn't expect. I thought, oh, Rasputin has arrived, and then it's like, nope, there you go, and this is the guy you're dealing with.
I went, David Bowie, it's you again.
I know,
you're everywhere.
Yeah, he does tend to show up a lot. So yeah, man, I don't know. We'll find out, but yeah, it's either Judas or it's Abel, but I just don't see like Abel as being some sort of major threat. But I don't know. It's something no one's ever played with before in that I know. I've never read a comic where Abel comes back.
I maintain that I would love to see Fiends of the Eastern Front turned into a movie. It'd be, and you wouldn't even know it was 2000 AD, or most people wouldn't even.
Yeah,
that's what's cool about it. It's because everybody on the outside, even if they vaguely know of Judge Dredd, that's what they know of 2000 AD.
Yeah,
not all the other stuff, but to see a cool period piece on Fiends of the Eastern Front would be awesome. Defoe, certainly.
Yeah, it is like it's kind of like all the horror stuff would be doable. And actually, as much as I was not a huge fan of it, if you're talking about Netflix original series type of shit, fucking Thistlebone is probably a good way to go too, because it might be incredibly cool in sort of a series format. Even though, like I said, for me it wasn't. I didn't love it, but maybe in a different context, it would be something pretty cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to love it because it's folk horror, but we got the talking about the folk horror, but we never got the cosmic horror that is the folk horror. Like, it kind of petered out.
Man, the big disappointment forever though is just that there was that point when we got so much talk of the Dredd series, even to the point where I'm pretty sure Jason Kingsley, right? That's the guy's name, 2080 guy, posted, like, I think a shot of the script by Rob Williams and stuff. Like, it was that at that level, and then they bought their own production studio, and it's just like, yeah, here we fucking go. Nothing, man. I mean, anything they have, the best shot they have is a Judge Dredd property, because I mean, that's the closest that 2000 AD, as far as outside of, I'm talking about Rebellion, I'm talking about 2000 AD. It's the closest they've got to anything that is, like their heavy hitter. But I guess that's something we got to remember, man, is like Rebellion in 2000 AD, like 2000 AD is just a little chunk of Rebellion. Rebellion's got bigger shit to worry about,
Yeah, I mean, like, I would imagine us wanting things that aren't Judge Dredd being made into a movie out of 2000 AD would be like people that are big fans of Mr. Terrific in DC going, well, I want Mr. Terrific get a movie. It's always Batman. Because no one's going to sit through a Mr. Terrific movie. Much like it's just going to be you and me and like 10 other people watching a Defoe movie.
Yeah. The sad thing is, in some ways, it's almost like, if 2012 is any indication, we could almost say, it's like people saying, why does Batman get a movie and Dredd doesn't? Because people aren't going to sit through a Dredd movie, obviously, because it didn't fucking happen.
Oh man,
it got its next life on DVD, I think, and but yeah,
not
man,
enough to get it back in the theater, unfortunately.
Chelsea and I, we were talking about, I get to hang out with Chelsea a little bit on our last trip in here. We went to our local comic store, and we're talking to the guy there because she was looking for Dredd stuff. And they were very super helpful, but he said something that confused both of us.
They went, who?
He goes, yeah, man. He's like, I saw that 2012 Dredd movie. It was really good. And we were like, cool. And he goes, yeah, man. He's like, I didn't even know about it. And this confused me. He goes, but my friend told me about it because he's such a huge Stallone fan. So I figured I'd watch it. He's like, it was great. And we were like, we didn't say anything, but I think we both collectively went, oh, this guy thinks that was Stallone under the helmet in 2012. Like, I don't know. It was weird. And it's one of those things where, like, I'm like, don't get me started on fucking Stallone Dredd. I want to have a nice conversation with this guy, and I don't know what we're talking about. But
swing and a miss.
It's just like, even to this day, it's like Sylvester Stallone's fucking curse hangs over Dredd. Like and I'm sure it was that thing for you when you got to talk to another person about Judge Dredd and they didn't have to bring up Stallone. It's like, that's all I want. Just want to have this conversation without having somebody bring up Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I mean, he had to make 2 Dredd movies, for fuck's sake. Urban only got 1.
He did, man. And when it's called Demolition Man, it's way entertaining. When it's called Dredd, it's traumatic.
It is. And I remember watching Demolition Man when it came out with my friends and I just went, this is Judge Dredd without the helmet. And then like 2 years later, he was Judge Dredd without the helmet. And I'm sitting there going, I should have kept my mouth shut. Damn it.
Yeah, man. I know.
It's got to be so much easier just to be into things that are popular, and just as far as acquiring things and getting those things released and having access to said things. But we've said it time and time again on this podcast, if there's not some kind of struggle involved in finding the thing, then it's really not going to get us.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine bring that up when we were saying, like, at the end of the day, people who find stuff like this and, like, people who find stuff, all the underground stuff, whatever it is that we like or collect, we're collectors, yes, but we're more like archaeologists. It's not even about once you get the thing, it's about the mystery of finding it, hearing the legend that it exists, and, trying to track it down.
Dude, it really is. It's the entomology, because when I find a new thing, I will just devour every bit of information I can about the thing, like how it got here, who started it. It was this and this, and then they changed it to this and this. Like, I love pulling back all the curtains to find all the, see all the magic behind. Yeah. And it's something in my DNA that just makes me run in the opposite direction from things that are overly popular.
Yeah, it's the archaeologist in you. Yeah. And it's like, even 2000 AD, as far as, like, the story of how it happened, the story of how we got here, like, it's real super interesting. That's why even that, like, I always recommend that Future Shock documentary to anybody and everybody who likes creative things or comics. It's like, man, you don't even have to like the comics in here to appreciate, like, just the story and the struggle and how there was, like, such a huge part of, like, creator rights that comes into it. And you get to see Pat Mills being the most punk rock guy on the planet.
I was watching Future Shock this week again. I was looking for something to watch. I went, oh shit, I haven't watched Future Shock in a while. Let's watch that again. It's always entertaining, and it's because I love Pat in there because he's just so blunt about everything. Yeah, and there's no artifice, no trying to spare people's feelings or trying to make people seem better in the story. Pat's just like, fuck it, here it is. This is what happened.
Yeah. And there's a couple of sections of that where he'll be like, yeah, this guy's a fucking cock. and then they have that guy on there. And like we're like, yeah, so they don't, it's not a one-sided story. The other good thing while we're talking about Pat Mills, I've maybe mentioned it a few times on here, but if you got audible.com, man, be good. What the fuck's it called? Be pure, be vigilant, behave. The book by Pat Mills, where he just kind of talks about his process of being a creator and goes into some pretty like, hey, here's why Pat Mills, have issues with the church, and here's why this and that. Real cool. Way too short, man. I think you can get through the whole audiobook in like 4.5 hours. So it's not long enough, but man, it's good.
And I could listen to Pat Mills talk forever. Like 16, give me 16 hours of Pat Mills just ranting. And God, I really hope he does revisit Defoe. I really do.
Yeah, I'm good if they leave Slane alone for a while and just bring us more Defoe. Yeah.
I think Slane is done, is it not? I think that was the whole thing of that last arc, was the swan song.
God, it was a terrible swan song, man.
Yeah, but I want to. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. I want to see Defoe take on the superior heroes. That seems to be the last thing he has to deal with after conquering the Reeks, conquering the incomprehensible Adonazor, and let's do the one last fight.
Yeah, man, it needs to happen, and maybe that will happen. I don't know. We'll see. Pat Mills seems like he's perpetually fighting somebody or something somewhere. I don't know if he's got specific beef with 2080, but I sure do kind of remember some sort of article that insinuated that a little bit. So I don't know.
Tell me when you've read anything or heard anything from Pat Mills where he hasn't been grinding an axe against something.
And I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of what makes Pat Mills. And I mean, speaking of which, I guess we should just a little side note. You finally read Martial Law recently. Speaking of Pat Mills,
it is quintessentially Pat Mills. It is a big middle finger to all the superheroes of the Western world, and I really enjoyed it. I got the complete edition that had all the martial law stories. The last one was kind of a weak link where they did the alien spoof when they were in space.
Yeah.
Martial law does some very unmartial law things in that. But no, I really enjoyed it, especially the first arc with him going against the public spirit and the big reveal at the end with who the sleep man is and how all this shit happened. And
yeah,
I just love the fact that like every close on martial law says, I hunt heroes, but I haven't found any yet.
Yeah.
Like all these assholes are just assholes. That's all it is. And because they never really in Western comic books, ponder the absolute power corrupts absolutely thing.
Yeah.
And Pat Mills is just like, oh yeah, you give somebody this much power, they're going to be a fucking dick.
Yeah. And it's, anytime I read The Boys or look at The Boys, I'm always like, man, that's some, that is fucking martial law right there. Like, The Boys is martial law. I mean,
without the bondage gear.
Yeah, it's a less 90s martial law, I guess. But I don't know. I'm real connected to martial law, and I think it is the designs and just the weirdness. It's the same thing, especially that first, the whole first arc, all that stuff. When I first saw Henry Flint's work on Proteus Vex, the reason that I like took another sort of like the reason that I really like gave it a second look and was like, oh, I think I'm going to like this was kind of because the art style gave me the same vibe as martial law.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, definitely can see that.
I also I know it's not in the compendium that you've got, but there is a martial law Hellraiser crossover, which it's something. That's all I'll say. It's something to see. I mean, if any superhero was going to meet the Cenobites, it needs to be martial law because he's into the same shit as they are.
Don't let him hear you saying superhero.
Yeah, wow. He's a superhero to me. God damn it.
But there was like a lot of psychological exposition in there, and they like kind of broke down why he wears the costume he wears and the barbed wire around his arm. And I wasn't really expecting that, but I was like, oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah. It's like, and really though, it's because it's badass.
Oh yeah, he's a leather daddy.
He is, man. If I were ever going to cosplay as anyone other than Dredd, it would be martial law. And there was a point in time when I sent a sex leather place a message asking them if they could recreate that mask for me, and they never got back to me.
Oh, the Gimp mask.
Nowadays, I know it'd probably be better to go through a cosplay person, somebody who does that, because they would make it and I wouldn't die of heat stroke in it.
He's not dressed in leather; he's upholstered.
Yeah,
like at that point.
Yeah.
I got that at Pittsburgh Comics. We went up there, and I was gonna grab. Originally, I really want to reread Onslaught, the Marvel thing where Magneto and Professor X merge, but it came in 3 volumes. I'm like, I'm not gonna spend like $120 here. But then I saw martial law. I went, but I'm gonna get that.
Yeah.
I passed up Control to get that.
Oh wow! Was it the hardbound Control?
Yeah, that's why I passed it up. It was the paperback, just the normal trade.
Yeah, that's the struggle, man. Once you know there's a special edition out there, that's the only thing that will do.
Speaking of which, I had forgotten that they published the 3rd volume of Fall of Dead World. I need to get on that and add that to the collection.
Yeah. The thing I'm holding out for, of course, as you are, is Proteus Vex, man. That's what we want. I'm just waiting for the copies to migrate over here.
You know what? Pittsburgh Comics might get them. I didn't look while I was there, but I should have, because that dude keeps the 2000 AD trades in stock.
Yeah, that's in our area, man. We have one place. It's located about an hour and 30 minutes away from where the two of us are, and that's close to us in terms of getting our 2000 AD fix. So yeah, anybody who's anywhere near us here in the States, if you want your 2000 AD, it's Pittsburgh Comics, man. He keeps them in stock. Yeah.
Chelsea did tell me she went up to Ides and took the rest of the progs that we didn't take.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they were still sitting there, because you and I are the market in this area for that.
Yeah. And as far as being your favorite 2000 AD related live podcast, that goes to us as well.
Okay, we're not wrapping up. Good, because I got something else to say. It's important.
Oh, go. Yeah.
You know what today is?
It's Thursday.
It is. Thursday, May 19th. It is the 30th anniversary of Kiss's Revenge.
Oh.
Released on this day in 1992.
Speaking of leather daddies.
That's when they finally all found a functional look.
They all looked cool for one record.
Oh, man. Asylum, they all look like the Golden Girls. You can't dress everybody like Paul, because everybody is not Paul.
Yeah.
And we're kind of getting there in Crazy Nights and Hot in the Shade, but Revenge hit it.
Yeah. Revenge is a good Kiss record, man. And then after that, they did a terrible grunge record that never saw the light of day until, well, it eventually saw the light of day. But
everybody loves Carnival of Souls.
No.
I can't believe they didn't play a single song off that the last time we saw them. How dare they? Oh
God. There's so much nonsense going on with Kiss, and they're not that anybody here wants to hear about Kiss, but they have the Kiss cruise every year. I've gone to the Kiss cruise once. It was wonderful. This year is the last one, and so everybody bought their tickets, and then Kiss said, "Oh, but then the week after we're having one more." And people are fucking mad. They're like, "No, I wanted to be on the very last one." Oh God.
Well, just wait until they come back out of retirement to do one more tour.
Yeah. It's right around the corner.
Although this whole final tour seems to be going on for fuck ever.
Well, thanks to COVID.
There is that.
It really is going to be the final tour because, they've all survived COVID, though. So, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. My daughter wants to go see Kiss live, and we couldn't get to them when they came back to Burgestown last summer. But I'm hoping there is, another tour, because I want that to be her first concert.
Yeah, it's a good one to start with. Definitely a good one to start with.
There's worse ones, but that would be.
And if she gets lost or runs away, she'll be safe because there's nothing but dads at a Kiss concert, man. Never seen so many New Balance white sneakers in my life.
Oh yeah, man. It's my Lori had not seen Kiss before when we went up to the and the last time they were up, it was 2019. I think we all went. I still have my bootleg T-shirt around here somewhere. We were walking out of there, and that guy, the first guy, tried to sell me one. He said $20, and I said $5, and he said, "Nah, man." I said, "That's okay." Literally, the next guy came up. He said $20. I said $5, and he said, "Okay," and he said, "I'll take 2."
And then I don't know about you, man. I do that at every concert where they're selling bootlegs in the parking lot. You get them real cheap after, and I never fucking wear them. So I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
Because I wasn't going to spend $50 on the fucking Creatures of the Night shirt inside. Jesus Christ. I felt at that point in time, I thought maybe my band was charging too much for our T-shirts. And then I get up to the top of the escalators to the Kiss merch booth and went, "Oh, well, shit, we're not charging nearly enough."
Oh, man. Saw Iron Maiden live once, a few times, but I saw them live and I bought a $55 long sleeve shirt that I regretted. And, I feel like because we're in bands that don't nearly make the kind of money, obviously, as these bands, we can endorse buying bootleg T-shirts. And I'll tell you why, because I have bought 2 bootleg shirts from my own band on eBay. So,
that's when you know you've made it. When my buddy Ryan, who does the work for Black Dahlia Murder, he found out that they're one of those Chinese knockoff sites was knocking off a couple of his designs, and I looked at him. I said, "I guess that means you made it, dude. Yeah. you're top tier because people are bootlegging your shit now." Yeah.
As soon as that's how you know, man. When somebody wants to steal from you, you must be doing all right.
I keep hoping to find one of my band shirts at Goodwill. I haven't yet, but we did show up on eBay, and the guy listed us as death metal, and he was charging like $20 for it. And I posted it on our band's page, and I said, "If anybody wants this shirt, we've got it for 15." And we are most certainly not death metal.
Yeah, but you are most certainly selling your shirts too cheap, sir. Those are $20 shirts.
Oh no, we're going with 20 on the new album cycle. I'm just trying to get rid of all the old ones now so I can get some money to make some new shirts. We haven't pressed a new shirt in like 3 years because of COVID, and I'm terrified to find out how much it's going to cost us now. Yeah, prices have gone up, unfortunately. So, damn it. I don't know. That's okay though, because you just mark them up. Every inflation affects everybody. So. Well, you guys can mark them up. My band doesn't exactly have the pool that your band does. I don't know though. Maybe we both need to start stamping featuring members of Cursed Earth Radio on our shirts, and we could just put a big old wiener on it. Man, I should have ended it right there. You should have, but now we're here. So why don't you give the folks a good wiener ring, and we'll get the fuck out of here. All right. To everybody listening in the chat, to all our friends all over the United States of America and beyond, to everybody that's ever tuned in once on the regular or at any point in time, and to everybody listening